Hello, everyone. I am thrilled today to welcome my dear friend Joel Sachs. And you know me, when I start talking, I won't stop until some good time, actually. So, Joel, this is your last opportunity to say a few words for probably 5 good minutes. So, use them wisely.
Hello, Kevin. Great to see you again, as always. And hello to everyone who's tuned in and watching right now.
All right, so people are still quiet. Maybe they're just getting cozy. So it will let us just, warm the room nicely, slowly. So Joel is a very special person to me. We've been certified together by Mind Valley, and we've been part of many different communities, many different settings and containers. So Mind Valley, Evercoach, the amazing Let's Go Deep community that our friend Brian Henry created. And we are currently members of the Amplify Your Business movement created by the amazing Sarah Gray. So we've been following each other for 2 good years, 2.5 almost. And hey, Alejandra, thank you so much for joining us. So always so good to see people in the comments. Guys, I invite you to not be wallflowers. Yes, you are pretty, but you are much more than that. Just join the show, join the fun. I invite you to participate in the comments. And if you have any questions at some point to Joel, I just invite you to type them in the comments. And Joel, I'm sure, will have the pleasure and privilege to answer them. So Joel has a very important focus, helping men who are feeling stuck in life. And yes, only helping men, or at least focusing on helping men, and we'll get there to that. And don't worry, ladies, you have amazing people taking good care of you, but probably it won't be Joel. That's it. And hey, Martin, so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. No, we have so many things in common, Joel and I. So we are both coaches. We've been both certified life coaches back then. And we also have something very deep connecting each other. We both are deeply spiritual. The big difference is Joel started with playing with spirituality much earlier than I did. He got more serious about spirituality much earlier. And actually, we will get into that because I love how much experience and how much wisdom you collected over the years. So we will absolutely touch base on that, or probably even more. But for now, let's start with my new favorite question. What flavor of misfit are you, and what makes you stand out from the norm?
Well, when I grew up, I kind of knew things were a bit different. I wasn't quite the same as everyone else. It was only much later in life, like in my mid to late 20s, that I actually realized then that I'm gay, and there was like a reason why I wasn't feeling the same way about some people as my friends are feeling, and others are feeling, my peers. And yeah, so it was kind of like rediscovering myself later in life, and kind of reflecting back on memories of my life as a child and growing up and adolescence, and what I went through, and realizing, okay, how this played a part in my life, and how this where things were different in my life, and how things could have been different.
And yeah, I just can imagine because yeah, I happen to be straight, but as probably all teens ever, or at least for quite a while now, thought about it. I explored that idea like, am I straight or am I gay or am I something else? So I'm pretty sure, when we're building our identity, we tend to ask ourselves that question. And to you, apparently, this answer happened quite, yeah, maybe not naturally. I'm not sure, but it makes sense. And now, folks, you probably understand why Joel focuses on helping men, right? There's, at least to me, in my opinion, a direct connection. Maybe not actually. Maybe it's something very different. Maybe I'm assuming. And actually, I would love to explore that later. I will just say hi to all our wonderful friends that join us. So we have Isabelle. Bonjour mon ami également. Melissa, Sharon, Sandra. Sandra, I'm so glad that you could make it. This is a rare treat. Thank you so much, Sandra, for joining. We have Lauren, we have Chris, we have Jonathan. We are already having, and Mike, leader of the Hounds. We already have almost full house, but we're only getting started. This party is just warming up. So really, really love what you just shared. Like, yeah, guess, and actually, I don't know about the numbers. The number I heard back then was basically one human being out of eight was gay. I don't know if it has changed somewhat, if it's still up to date. But actually, there are many people that are on the other side, whatever you call it. And so we better understand what it means. Like, I'm straight, right? But I still stand as LGBT because I stand as an ally. Like, I have mad respect for the people that had to go through a different sexual orientation or different way to explore their own gender and in their relationship with others. Obviously, totally changes the way you look at life and the way you look at the way you interact with people. So yeah, actually, I feel it might be very interesting to explore that. And but first, let's go one by one. So I'm barely catching up with the chat. I will get there in a moment. So before I see if there are any questions, I would love to explore something and basically about relationships, right? We started to, obviously being gay makes your relationships have been quite different from my relationships, at least on the love side. And so you had a love relationship, a long love relationship that you realized at some point wasn't serving you anymore. Or actually, maybe it wasn't serving you for quite some time already. So I would love to know, how did you realize that? Because I feel it could be extremely helpful to some people. And then how did you free yourself? And that might be even more important for some people.
Right. So I was in a relationship for 18 years. And I realized after, several years before it ended, or a while before it ended, I started to realize, okay, I don't know, things didn't feel right, but I just kind of just stayed with it and made things work. And it was towards the end that I started to then realize, okay, this is really not right. This is not the right relationship for me. Things were not good with me. My health was deteriorating. I was severely underweight. I was just not in a good way at all. And then I came to the realization that it's something that I need to leave. But it just so happened at the same time I met my current partner. And I realized the difference, and I realized what was missing in my life, and I realized that this is the right thing for me. the right relationship for me and the right person for me. And that was when I left that relationship. And leaving that relationship was tough because we were in business together. We had a home together. We had our whole lives were intertwined in such a way, up to 18 years together. So it was a big, big thing. It was a big move, a big change. But once I did that, I just had like a whole new lease on life. Things started to resolve. My health issues resolved. I started to gain weight. I started to be fitter. Everything just changed and came together. And if I look at pictures of myself back then, I look at myself now, I'm like two different people.
Yeah, I can't imagine. So I never been into 18 years long relationships. That's something I never reached that high number, and I can't imagine. Like as you said, I love the word you mentioned, intertwine. That your lives were absolutely well mingled together, right? They were very deeply glutened together, and so that's the thing. How so? I understand that this new person coming into your life was maybe the fire starter, or maybe a catalyst of some sorts, to help you free yourself from that relationship, and maybe it gave you some clarity, maybe kind of stir the pot somewhat of something that was already brewing. But still, some people still have that. Something happened in their life. They have an opportunity that is showing up, or they are only seeing now, and still they are not taking action. So I'm super curious. How did you practically, concretely freed yourself? Because apparently, so you realized this relationship wasn't serving you anymore, and you needed to move on somewhat. And I know, especially if you've been for a long time with someone, it can be extremely difficult to take that action. Because as you mentioned, so many things like business, you were in bed in business, in bed at home, like everything was so tight. So how were you able to do that?
So yeah, it was not easy at all, because it involved selling a home, giving up a lot of things that we had together. But then I realized that things are just all these material things, and we continue to work remotely in business together for a bit longer. But there was just this inner feeling, this feeling that this is my soul, from my soul. I just did not feel like this was right. I had to free that soul. I had to allow my true self to come through. And the end of the day, what goes on in your body, in your mind, in your soul, that is more important than anything materialistic. Right?
That is such a beautiful answer. I love that. That actually it was kind of a calling, right? Something that really was growing inside of you, and that, yeah, that was aspiring to be freed. So I feel like something, I don't know, like growing, like a beautiful plant growing inside of you, and going through the situation you described, being in not good health, and etc. So I feel it's extremely powerful, and actually the perfect bridge to my next question. I love that. And before I go there, I would love to welcome warmly our dear friend Maria Elena. Te quiero, cariño. I'm so happy that you joined. And Monica, it has been a while. I'm so happy that you joined us as well. We've met, Maria Elena, Monica, and Joel. We've met in Tallinn, Estonia, 2 years ago. It was absolutely brilliant. So, no, my new question. what led you to embrace spirituality? Because that's the thing, that relationship we just mentioned, you shared spirituality with that person. So, and I'm curious, was it really linked to that person directly, or did you start your spiritual path before that? And then I would love to know what practices, spiritual practices, do you play with for your own well-being?
Right. So I'd actually always been into spirituality, but didn't do much as far as practicing it went. And then my ex-partner and I actually went along a spiritual path together. Like, we both went to study things together. We went to seminars. We did courses. We both did a course in angel readings together. And I actually ended up doing that, more so practicing it, more so getting into a lot of angel readings, doing angel readings for people. We then did mediumship training as well. And so I did angel readings and mediumship, and loved doing that as well. Did that for several years. And we kept, growing on from that aspect and learning more stuff spiritually, and getting, intuitive messages and things. And yeah, but what I discovered, and the way I met my new partner, was also spiritually guided. There was some universal intervention that got us to meet, and there were just so many things that had to align for us to meet and get together.
Yeah, this is so powerful. And yeah, so for all the non-spiritual peeps here, you might be like, oh, come on, another fluff talk, right? Another kind of new age nonsense. Well, you believe what you choose to believe, and we absolutely won't push any of our beliefs on you. But personally, I don't believe in coincidences anymore. I had way too many concrete proofs, like hardcore, hard facts, concrete proofs that no coincidences ever exist. And yes, when something extremely good happens, there is a very good reason for that, and same for the very bad things. Usually there is something, and not necessarily that. I don't necessarily mean karma or that thing. It's not necessarily in my reality blueprint, let's say, but still, like there's something here for you, and for you, like for you to play with and for you to learn from. So I love that that you mentioned that. And that's, yeah, we are absolutely led by that, whether we realize it or not, whether we want it or not. But I believe we need it. Whatever we can say about it, we absolutely need it, and it's why we tend to lean in that direction. So before we move on, a warm welcome to my dear Baji, Jane Wong, and Craig. Thank you so much for joining as well. So happy to see you both. And oh, I see a good one from Melissa, the empathic queen. I'm sure you would love to connect with Melissa. She's amazing. And yeah, exactly. That's something that connects most everyone. Absolutely. And so, would you mind sharing a little bit of your own practices, something that might be of interest of some people, if they would decide to, yeah, you know what, I would feel at least trying some spirituality in my life, or add extra spirituality in my life because I already have my own practices. What would be like your top practice that you're like my personal one is qigong. Like my number one would be, if you ever have to try one, folks, in your life, go with qigong absolutely totally transformed my life. What would be your top number one, guys? try that, and then let's talk.
You know what I find? So a lot of times, it's as simple as just getting yourself to that place of allowing yourself to just quieten your mind. Anything that's going to completely just quieten your mind. And once you can get yourself into that state, the magic starts to happen. And it doesn't mean meditating for an hour. You don't have to become a slave to meditation, basically, for that. You can do it in as quick as 5 minutes. If you can just take 5 minutes from your day and just center yourself, focus, and just allow things to happen. But also what I've found is, so I did a lot of work with angels, and that was what I was doing a lot since 2007. And what a lot of people don't realize is that they're all around. They're with us. They're there to help you, right? And you just need to ask for the help, because they wait for us to ask for the help. And it's as simple as just asking, putting it there and saying, this is what I want. This is how I want to be. And then just let it go. Let it be. And it's like you've given the task to them for that to happen. And I even in my work, I would just say to them, help me with this person. Help me help this person. And a question will come through, a message will come through, something will just come through that helps with the session and helps find the solution for what the person needs.
That's beautiful. And yeah, that's, I feel it's an extremely powerful force. And that in our modern world, we tend to absolutely go the other way. We tend to be extremely intentional, extremely chop. Let's be really action based. And don't get me wrong, it's extremely helpful as well. You absolutely want some intentionality and some action in your life, but really the allowing part, and to me, really being extremely intentional and really action based is more masculine, and allowing, letting go is more feminine, and not as genders, right? Or more like as a primordial force or energy. And it's so beautiful when you just let magic happen that way. It's absolutely incredible. And then putting some good intentional actions on that, wow, it works like pure magic to me. But trying just to grind and force things without allowing beforehand usually doesn't get you very far, at least from my experience. I don't know, maybe someone in the audience in the comments has a different experience. Maybe you found, hey, you know what, no, actually when I just stick my head to the grind, I achieve amazing results. Personally, it's when I let go. And like, once again, I mentioned Qigong, right? Qigong is all about flow. It's really creating flow and alignment. So obviously, I'm all about that. I'm totally biased on that discussion, but yeah, I feel it's very powerful. So I would love to say, so Lisa, in the comments, thank you so much for joining. And we have our first question from the audience. So we have Jane, and Jane, basically, she has always the very best questions. So rule of thumb, if you see a question of Jane, just go with it. And hopefully it won't be the last question, folks. If you want to ask anything to Joel, and so Joel is the first hypnotherapist I have on my show. Maybe not the last, we'll see, but at least it's the first. So if you have any hypnotherapy questions, feel free to. So for now, let's play with Jane's question. So what are your thoughts on emotional intelligence?
Yeah, it's not actually something. It's not an area I delve into too much. Perhaps you can ask a bit more about that, Jane.
All right, so we'll see if Jane has something to add. So I'm checking the the comments. For now, we don't have anything, but no worries. We will move on, and if Jane is still around, we will have a follow-up explanation or question. So for now, actually, let's move to hypnotherapy, right? I mentioned you're a hypnotherapist. And so I would love for you to explain how do you guide others towards freedom thanks to hypnotherapy combined with coaching. And so remember, so you focus mainly on helping men. I don't feel you're necessarily adverse to helping women if it happens, but you're mainly focusing on serving men, if I'm correct. So please, I would love to know how, because you've been certified for a while now as a hypnotherapist besides coaching, and I would love for you to explain, what kind of magic you've witnessed with your clients.
Right. So, yeah, that I most definitely do work with women as well, as to make that clear as well. It's my primary reason for saying that that I work with men is because I've seen a need for that, because a lot of men are in situations where they are stuck like that, and they cannot open up and cannot talk with anyone about that. So just to clarify that. With hypnotherapy, I've seen amazing transformations in people, and really quickly as well. People are often carrying around these anxiety or confidence issues, stress, that they just carry around for years. I've seen even people that have been carrying around for 20 years and just haven't dealt with it. And what that does, they don't realize how it actually eats away inside them, just starts picking away at things and affects their life in such a way that it can become quite crippling. And then hypnotherapy is so freeing for that. I've seen transformations of people in like 1 hour, 1 hour, 20 years of anxiety just dissipated, completely gone. And you can see a change in a person from before session to after session. They look years younger. I mean, I see that as like, this is just magical. This is what it's about. This is the whole crux of it, is to see, to help people with these changes in their life. Is not just used for that. It's used for so many other things. I love when people like throw me curveballs and bring me issues that I've never encountered before, kind of something abnormal that will, like, that doesn't fit the mold of something that I get normally every day. It's like, oh, this is exciting, this is interesting, let me find a way to tackle this. And yeah, it's very exciting. I've seen a lot of transformation with it.
So yeah, it made me laugh when you said looking younger, because that's something I've been blessed with. And usually when people ask me, okay, what's your secret? And I tend to say that I immerse myself into alcohol. So that's why I look younger. But no, actually, it's decades of dance that allowed me to look younger. Always like for decades, I looked at least 5 years younger. But so being able to do that in 1 hour, right, just one session, that's wild. That's really, really impressive. So yeah, and I've witnessed the magic of hypnotherapy firsthand. I know hypnotherapy has a lot of bad rap. Many people have a lot of resistance, which makes sense because you're like, okay, you're not reprogramming my brain. No, sir, there's no way. Of course, you don't want someone to hijack your brain or your mind. Of course, you want your privacy to be respected. But that's the thing. It's hypnotherapy. The idea is really it's like any other therapy. If you go to a physiotherapist, you're lending them your body, right? They could do nasty things to your body if they wanted to, but hopefully you trust the professional enough. So when you lend them your body, they will take good care of you, and you will end up being amazing. And actually, if they know, the points, the vital points on your body, what we study in martial arts, they could totally mess you up and you wouldn't even realize. And like maybe in 3 months, you will wake up and you can't move anymore, and like forever. That's the kind of power you have with the body. To me, the same with hypnotherapy. If it's a real therapist, and if the point is to cure you, to help you, to support you, then there is no reason to be afraid. Just wanted to mention that because yeah, some people can have very understandably some resistance about it. And actually, I had back then. I was like, nope. Like in English, it's NLP, right? I still have some kind of resistance around NLP because I know some people like politicians are using it for bad reasons and with bad intentions. So I'm like, okay, you master NLP, you better show me your credits and your intentions. To me, it goes the same with hypnotherapists. So, and once again, like it's a game of trust for any coach, any therapist, any healer, any light worker. You want to be sure your client or patient or prospect, they trust you enough. So to me, it's really a matter of trusting the person we have in front of us and creating a beautiful relationship, a beautiful connection. So yeah, I don't know how you feel about that.
Right. Yeah. And a lot of misconception that people have is people think that you get into the state of just where you're giving your mind to control to someone else and you completely aren't unable to control it yourself. It's not like that at all. I mean, a lot of the work is even done in a light trance or a medium trance. And very occasionally do go into a deeper trance, but even so, the person doesn't get into such a state that they just give up full control like that. And some people say, you're going to make me quack like a duck. Well, if you want to quack like a duck, I can make you quack like a duck, but that's not the intention here. That's
I love that.
age hypnosis system.
Maybe we will try that. Actually, usually ducks, I eat them, so I'm not sure I want to quack like them. It would feel like I'm eating myself, so I'm sure I wouldn't like that too much. But yeah, that's a funny one. Okay, so we had some explanation from Jane. So it was more, having your perspective on how emotional intelligence impacts behaviors and relationships. So do you want to explore that, or do you feel it's not necessarily your primary expertise?
Yeah, that's not really my primary expertise. So,
And folks, you know what? I love that. Some people would have tried to cover up and try to pretend they know everything. I love actually that Joel is like, no, I'm like emotional intelligence. I know what it is, but I'm not an expert here, so I prefer stick to my guns. So mad respect for you, Joel, for that. So yeah, that's really powerful. Actually, I assumed you've been certified, or maybe not certified, but at least you followed Shirzad Chamin's PQ program.
yes.
Okay, no, you did actually. So maybe it's why Jane, asked you.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I am the positive intelligence coach as well, right? So I do positive intelligence with that. And what I found with that is it does help people in relationships, even without them realizing it, right? I have taken people through it that have told me that by doing it, it has saved their relationship, right? Without them even realizing how it's happening or what is happening with it. Um, there are people that also told me that before they get into a discussion, like with a partner, they will do PQ reps. They will do the positive intelligence reps, which gets them into the right kind of mindset before they have those conversations. And then the whole conversation goes so much better. I myself use it whenever I need to get centered. Like I mentioned before about that way of getting centered, it's a great way to get centered is to do that. It's a great thing to wake up in the morning and to do that to get centered for the day. And it's super quick and easy as well. So yeah, from that aspect, it really, really helps.
Yeah, thank you so much for explaining. And yeah, I would love to build upon it a little bit because some people might have no idea what we're talking about. And I'm a huge fan of Shehzad Shamin's work. Like I believe his work is absolutely stunning. It has been a huge toolbox actually because it's an entire toolbox. And just so in a nutshell, the idea is we've been born absolutely perfect. Like when we've been born like he calls sage, with amazing superpowers, and like the world was our oyster, and we have innate abilities that are beyond comprehension. Like we are so powerful. It's almost ridiculous how powerful like we are naturally. And then while growing up and having negative experiences and traumas and whatnots, we create kind of fragments of ourselves, fragment of our personality, and we call them the saboteurs. And we create kind of layers of crap, basically, of personalities, inner personalities that pretend to be allies, pretend to be our friends, when actually they are exactly doing the opposite. They are bringing us a lot of negativity, and they are hindering our capability to connect with our sage. And the all the work of Shazad Shamin is to able to reduce the impact of the saboteurs and connect to the sage and like make the sage bigger and the saboteurs smaller. And by doing that, it's exactly like you would do by going to the gym. If you want to be ripe, if you want to have a shredded body, you don't just hit the gym once in your life, right? You go consistently on a regular basis and you see your muscle grow and your body becoming stronger and more beautiful, etc., right? It's the same. If you want to develop to make your sage grow bigger and healthier, you do your reps exactly like in the gym, except it's emotional intelligence reps. So it's fascinating work. It's absolutely amazing. Love Shirzad Shamin's work once again, and yeah, and relationship. That's the thing. If the more your sage grows and becomes healthier again, the more everything unlocks to you, and everything becomes more in flow and more powerful. So to me, Yes, relationships are directly impacted, and actually everything else. It's just a magic pill. I know it sounds like snake's oil seller, but really it's very, very powerful.
Right. Yeah. It's mental fitness is what they call it, a mental fitness program, right? Because it's working out your brain. But just a few days ago, I was in a situation where there was just something that was on my mind, bothering my mind, and just thoughts, right? Your thoughts sometimes just get in the way and take you on these journeys that, like the train of thought, right? That you should not be on. You should step off that train of thought, right? And it's one thing to just stop that and say, well, I'm stopping that thought, stopping that thought, stopping that thought. But then sometimes that thought just keeps coming back. So what I thought, okay, well, I'm just gonna do some PQ reps now. And I did PQ reps. I did 12 minutes of PQ reps. And immediately my entire energy shifted. I was completely different. I was in a different mindset. And then the issue that I thought was there just started to resolve itself. And that's what happens, right? And that's what happens so often in life, is that we conjure up this idea of something that's happening because of our thoughts. And as soon as you just free yourself from that, things start to resolve. Things just start to naturally resolve automatically.
Yeah, no, it's exactly that. So I folks, I really invite you to look it up. Shirza Chamin PQ intelligence. It's extremely powerful, and actually, so these PQ reps we just mentioned, it's a set of modalities, very powerful, very useful, no question asked. But actually, it's merely mindfulness. It's a very specific way of playing with mindfulness, but it's exactly what you do if you're doing meditation. Whenever you're in your shower, whenever you're right before you wake up, or just after you woke up, or right before you go to sleep, all those states are absolutely similar. It's a state of mindfulness when you're just figuratively or even literally smelling the flowers. It's exactly what the type of state you are. The speaker reps, it gives you a proper tool to play with that, and very easy. Yeah, absolutely. I can check. So actually, I believe on both Joel's and my profile, you can see the PQ kind of certification. I'm pretty sure you put it as well. I'm pretty sure it's why Jane mentioned it. But otherwise, yeah, I can't comment right here. But Shirzad Shamin, I will let you know, Sharon. Yeah, with pleasure. And okay, so we're getting close to the end of this call. We still have a few good minutes, don't worry. But no, it will be the last call, folks. If you want to ask any question to Joe, now is the right time. And now I will go into, going into something a little bit more practical and quite fun. So I would love for you to tell us, Joel, what are you working on these days? Or what excites you the most these days, if it's different?
What am I working on these days? Well, I'm working as a coach and hypnotherapist. I recently also completed breathwork training to be a conscious connected breathwork. That was something I never experienced before, and then went to experience that, and it was just amazing experience. So I did training in that. I'm working on, as you know, I'm doing Amplify with you, Amplify Your Business together with you. So there's lots to work on with that, on Sarah Gray's program. I'm starting to put some things into practice with that. I know that you are very on the ball with that, Kevin. And so I will be releasing, I did a podcast episode maybe about 18 months ago or so, but I need to, I have some content building up, which I will be doing a podcast. And yeah, that's currently what's on the go.
So I love that. And yeah, your breath work, it's another very different modality, but same for mindfulness. Wow, extremely, extremely powerful. And yeah, I love that. Yeah, it's not an anecdote. It's a hard fact actually, but usually, so if you know a little bit of Chinese medicine and Asian medicine in general, Eastern medicine, there are 5 different channels of energy in our body. Like you have the blood, the nervous system, the digestive system, etc. There is only one that we can consciously control and have really, really like dominion over, and this is the breath. The only one we can really exert some intentionality and some proper action, controlled action, is the breath. It's one of the reasons why mindfulness usually uses the breath as an anchor, and that's why breath work is so extremely powerful. So if you never tried breath work, guys, I warmly invite you to try. It's extremely, extremely powerful. Maybe not for you, like some things like qigong is not for everybody, right? Cold plunges are not for everyone. Like everybody is different, but a breath work is extremely, extremely powerful. If it's for you, you want to try it. And so Joel has just been certified with that, so you might be interested in at least asking questions and see how it works, and maybe even work with Joel. And yeah, we have a question from Sharon. How would you recommend supporting a family member with coming out? And we have a follow-up explanation. They are afraid of how others will treat them, but I know it will be liberating.
Right. Yeah, the thing that I actually found is that the thoughts in my head about how others would take it were just thoughts. Because everyone was just so accepting and understanding and even excited for me as well. And you know, those who don't accept it, or those who are not okay with it, it's their problem. It's their own problem, not yours. Right? And you cannot prevent yourself from being who you are and who you really are for the sake of what others are going to think or what others are going to say. Right? Because then you're not living your true, authentic self and being your true, authentic self. And once you do that, once you live your life as your true, authentic self, it is liberating. And it is like it's essentially like a discovery. It is a discovery as to who you are, right? So you're telling people, I've discovered who I am. Why should it matter to someone? Why should it actually make a difference to anyone else? It's not going to affect their life, who you are. So you live your life, they live theirs. So you say, like, what? So it's essentially questioning them then to say, like, oh, what are your insecurities about it? What is the problem? Why do you have an issue with it? Right? I'm the person who's living like that. Why why if I don't have an issue being who I am, why do you have an issue with me being who I am?
Yeah, it's really really beautiful. I love, and you know how I'm into identity work and how much it means to me, and like nurturing our authenticity and connecting with it, and that so much goodness comes from that. It's extremely powerful. And yeah, I'd love to just add two quick things. Very first, there will always be haters, no matter what. Some people won't accept that. Some people will reject someone when they come out. That absolutely for sure. That is just life. Some people will react poorly, negatively, whatever you call it, and they might be very close friends, loved ones, etc. So they better be ready. They will have some consequences and some splashes. And I'm like, once again, I'm straight, right? I never had to come out, but I played with vulnerability so much. Like I mentioned yesterday on Jen Lin's summit. um, I've been struggling with depression for a good amount of time in my life. It comes from my neurodiversity, right? Apparently, as all neurodiverse people, we have a tendency to suffer from depression. I was extremely resistant about sharing that because I felt people would see me as broken, as liability, that they wouldn't trust me anymore if they knew I had some depression tendencies here and there. They would be like, okay, this guy is not reliable. We can't count on him. Let's forget. I had those kind of ideas. The same way, ladies, it will probably resonate. Some potential bosses might ask you, do you intend to have children? Like thinking, oh, she if she gets pregnant, then she becomes a liability, etc. So I hope it never happened to you. I know some of my friends to whom it happened. So unfortunately, the pregnancy thing, it's a real life thing. This is absolutely awful. But as Joel mentioned, it's mostly in our head. Actually, when I came up with my depression frailty, I was overwhelmed with support and love and understanding and compassion. And actually, I realized it was all in my head. And yes, some people, a few people, probably don't trust me because of that. But it's like zip, it's irrelevant compared to all the goodness I enjoyed by being vulnerable and by stepping out. And I know we're not supposed to use the word coming out if it's not, from acknowledging being gay. But to me, it felt like that. It felt like coming out, like coming out of my shadow and stopping to hide myself and really share my real authenticity, warts and all, with the world. And I've been overwhelmed with positivity. So it's the yeah. Sorry, it took me much longer than I thought, but it's the second thing. If they feel they're not ready for their coming out, and once again, I never had a proper gay coming out, so I can't necessarily say a thing about it. But to me, it's vulnerability. It's really the same thing. It's really the same family. So to me, my invitation would be to play with vulnerability with a topic that is less profound, less deeply connected to their core, and that would have less splashes when it comes out. And just starting to disclose some things. So maybe they have some kinks, maybe sharing, hey, you know what? I still sleep with my plush, like stuffed bear, and I'm 30 now. That kind of shameful share, or I love animes or whatnot. Right? Anything that could seem to be vulnerable, but not that vulnerable, and see what happens, and actually incrementally become more accustomed to vulnerability and become more in flow, and maybe thanks to that, and kind of create a staircase until they reach the point, okay, now I feel like I can do my coming out. I don't know if it makes sense to you, Joel. I don't know if it would actually be useful to a gay person. I would love to have your idea on that.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I really resonate with that as well. And it's once you just realize that, a good attitude to adopt is to just say, so what? Right? Just say, so what? So what if they think that? So what if this happens, right? So what? Those words can change so much, right? And those words can allow you to just be, once you adopt the just so what attitude. So what if it happens? It's in positive intelligence, there's the stallion story, right? Where it's who knows what is good and what is bad. And you can apply that to so many things in your life, just whenever things, who knows what is good and what is bad.
I love that stallion story so much. I don't know if you want to share that one. I'm not sure we have time. I'd
It's
rather
quite
have
long, but
I'd rather
it's a
please
fable.
you, but
Yeah.
I already shared more for more time than I initially wanted. But okay, before I continue, Christine, I'm so happy that you joined even late. It's always a pleasure to see you. Christine is amazing. Like she knows a thing or 20 about vulnerability. Christine is absolutely amazing. We love you and we are so proud of you, Christine, for what you do. You're an absolute rock star. And yeah, so that stallion story, that's the thing. You have no idea how it will be received, and guess what? High chances are it will be really, really well received. Or at least there will be some good in it that you couldn't imagine.
At the end of the day, when people see you being happy, you being at peace with yourself, you enjoying life, right? That's what people like. People don't like fake people, right? And if someone's fake, they're going to pick it up at some point. So if you continue living a lie and not being who you are, you're going to come across as fake.
That is very, very strong incentive, my friend. And that's the thing. So this is the negative side of it. People will smell you 1,000 miles away, and they might not realize that, but they will have some resistance towards you because you're not being congruent. You're not being whole, and it will show. On the other side, when you align, when you become congruent, when you step into your truth, everything changes. Like everything changes. Like guys, you've seen you for the one that discovered me 6 months ago at the very beginning of this podcast. I just connected finally with my avatar. I just had the realization, hey, you know what? No, I don't want to serve entrepreneurs. I want to serve my fellow misfits. It felt so right and so pure and so good. It took me some time before it really landed. But really, as I went on that journey, I, I was aligned and I felt more and more and more aligned. And every single extra week, I did like the light you see just for kicks. Look at my first video 6 months ago and look at me now, and you will see a world of difference in the way I show up, in the way I radiate light and positivity. Because I am absolutely stepping into my power and I am fully aligned. And that's what coming out could do to you. Probably not right away. You will have to deal with the splashes, but in time you will really have the same kind of light that Joel has, or I, or so many of the people around us that have been able really to step into their power. And if you have no idea how to do that, if you need guidance, guess what? You can join Joel if you're gay, or even if you're not, no worries. At least if you're a man feeling stuck, you connect with Joel. And if you feel like a misfit and you would like to explore your identity as a misfit and reframe it from negative to positive, you come to me. I'm Mr. Mingle. I'm the Misfit Uplifter, and I would love to help. And now we're already over the time a little bit. We went greedy, we went yummy. So we will say goodbye in a moment. But before that, I would love for you, Joel, to say a few last words. What would you love to leave our audience with today?
I would love to leave them with the message of be your true, authentic self, because no one is going to be that person for you but you.
Yeah, that was a mic drop. That's it for us today. Joel, you're amazing. Love you, my friend. And next week you'll see it will be a very special guest, a Lydia, an amazing Lydia. You will see which Lydia it is. I leave you a bit of a surprise. And we love you in the audience. You are amazing, Christine, Jane, Martin. You stayed until the end. You're absolutely fabulous. Thank you so much for your support in the replay. We love you as well. Don't worry, we don't forget you. But next time, just join us live. It's much more fun. So enjoy a wonderful rest of your day. And bye-bye.
Thank you, Kevin.